The Hisui region was a land both breathtaking and cruel. From the frozen cliffs of alabaster icelands to the verdant sea of grass across the obsidian fieldlands, everything in Hisui was vast, untamed. Pokémon roamed freely, many towering larger than their future descendants, their eyes burning with the fierce red glow of noble rage. Civilization was still young, built from sweat and fear and hope. And amidst all that wild wonder stood a small wooden village on the coast, Jubilife, its chimneys smoking against the dawn. Akari tightened the strap of her satchel and looked back at the village gates. The scent of salted fish and burning firewood still clung to her clothes, but the excitement in her chest drowned everything else out. "Ready, Oshawott?" she asked, glancing down at the little sea otter Pokémon waddling beside her. He puffed his chest proudly and chirped. "What?" Akari laughed. "Then let's make Professor Laventon proud." The professor had given her this partner only days ago, and Oshawott, he said, had come from a faraway region called Unova. It was small, spirited, and clever, with a shell blade sharper than any knife she'd handled. Together, they were to help the Galaxy Expedition team document every Pokémon species across Hisui. No small task, but Akari had always loved the unknown. She'd already caught a few species, a starly, a buizel, and even a feisty shinx after a nerve-wracking struggle. Her notebook was filled with sketches and notes. Each day she grew stronger, more confident, closer to understanding the balance between humans and Pokémon. But Hisui never let its explorers grow too comfortable. The sun was high when Akari reached a quiet glade near the riverbanks. The sound of rushing water masked the rustle of tall grass. Oshawott splashed around, his shell gleaming in the light as he practiced razor shell. Akari smiled, jotting notes into her logbook. "Good form," she said. "You'll be a strong partner one day." The peace didn't last long. From the tree line came voices, human voices, sharp and mocking. "Well, what do we have here?" Akari froze. 3 figures emerged from the forest, clad in mismatched garb that shimmered faintly with stolen trinkets. She recognized them instantly from the warnings in Jubilife, the Misfortune sisters. Charm, the eldest, her long red hair bound in gold bands, her grin wicked and sharp. Clover, the hot-headed one with icy blue eyes and a restless stance. And Coin, the youngest, her smirk playful but dangerous. "Well, look at that," Charm purred. "A little galaxy girl all alone, and with a rare-looking Pokémon, too." Akari stepped back, her hand tightening around Oshawott's Pokéball. "I'm not looking for trouble," Clover chuckled. "Oh, but we are. Hand over your Pokémon, sweetheart. You don't look strong enough to keep it." Akari's heart pounded. She had heard tales of these bandits robbing travelers, but facing them in person, 3 against 1 made her legs feel like they were sinking into the soil. Still, she wasn't going to surrender Oshawott. "Not happening," she said, her voice trembling but steady. "If you want him, you'll have to battle me." Charm's grin widened. "Oh, I like her spirit. Let's show her what happens to brave little girls." "Right on! Gengar, Abomasnow, go!" 3 Pokeballs burst in quick succession. The ground cracked under Raiden's stomp. Gengar's shadow stretched unnaturally long, and Abomasnow's breath froze the very air. The 3 bandits stood in a half-circle, confident, cruel, their prey already cornered. Akari gripped her only Pokeball so tightly her fingers ached. "Oshawott, stay ready." The little otter stepped forward, trembling, holding its shell like a blade. It was brave, but the ground shook beneath Raiden's approach, and that courage felt like a fragile candle in a storm. "Raidon, bulldoze!" Charm barked. The earth erupted. Akari threw herself aside, the shockwave throwing Oshawott through the grass. Before she could call out, Gengar's cackle split the air, dark energy swirling in its palms. "Shadow Ball!" Coin shouted. The spectral sphere rocketed toward them. Akari cried, "Water Pulse! Now!" The 2 attacks met midair. The explosion blinded her, tearing leaves from the trees. Abomasnow raised its arms and bellowed, "Blizzard!" The world turned white. A storm of razors, frost cutting into her clothes, her skin, her lungs. Oshawott shielded her as best it could, standing against the gale with trembling limbs. The laughter of the Misfortune sisters cut through the wind. "Well, that was easier than I thought," Clover sneered. "Guess the Galaxy team sends out children now." Akari's breath came shallow. "I can't fight them all. I can't protect him alone." Her vision blurred. Cold, pain, fear. But beneath it all, defiance. She refused to give them her partner. And then through the snowstorm came a sound that silenced everything. A low, deep rumble. Not thunder, not Rhydon, a roar. The blizzard scattered like ash in the wind. The air grew heavy with heat. Someone stepped through the melting haze, tall, cloaked, his face half-shadowed beneath a hood. His boots sank into the softened ground. The scent of smoke followed him. 3 against 1, he said, his voice low, flat, cowardly. Charm narrowed her eyes. And you are? The man didn't answer. His hand brushed the strange device at his belt, a red and white capsule, smoother and more refined than anything Hisui had ever seen. Clover scoffed. That's not a Pokeball. No, he replied simply. It isn't. He pressed the button. The light burst like a flare. When it faded, a monster stood between them, orange scales glowing in the firelight, like wings spread wide, eyes burning with disciplined rage. Charizard. Its presence alone pushed the air back. Heat shimmered off its hide. Akari staggered, shielding her eyes. She'd never felt power like this. Controlled, focused, not wild but trained. Charm blinked. What in the? The man's voice was like frost. You've had your fun, now move. Clover laughed, forcing confidence. Move? We'll bury you right here. Rhydon, rock blast! Rhydon's horn fired a volley of spinning boulders. They thundered through the air. Charizard, the man said. Air slash. Charizard's wings snapped outward, cutting arcs of compressed wind. The rocks shattered midair, fragments disintegrating in the blast. The sisters flinched from the shockwave. A Abomasno blizzard! Gengar! Shadow Ball! A torrent of ice and shadow collided toward Charizard. The dragon didn't dodge. It roared and surged forward, wings beating once, propelling itself into the attacks. Flamethrower. The flames met the blizzard, consuming it. Ice turned instantly to steam. The beam of fire roared forward, swallowing both Gengar's Shadow Ball and the ghost itself. Gengar shrieked and vanished into its ball, smoke trailing. Charm grit her teeth. Rhydon. Horn drill. Go through it. The man didn't even blink. Counter with Dragon Claw. Charizard dropped low, claws blazing blue. The dragon met Rhydon head-on, 1 hit, 2 slashes. Sparks and fire burst between them. Rhydon's armor cracked, glowing red-hot under the strain, before the beast was hurled backward with a thunderous crash. Clover screamed, Abomasno! Ice punch, now! Abomasno lunged, its fist coated in frost. The man's voice stayed calm, clinical. Seismic toss. Charizard sidestepped the blow, grabbed Abomasno by the arm, and lifted. Wings spread wide, one powerful beat, and they were airborne. Higher, until they were 2 blurs against the sunlight. Then Charizard spun, flames streaming from its tail, and dropped. The impact shook the forest. Dirt and snow erupted like a geyser. Abomasno didn't rise. The 3 sisters stumbled back, disbelief written across their faces. Clover whispered, That wasn't wild, it moved with him. Charm hissed, That wasn't a fight, that was execution. Charizard turned toward them, smoke curling from its nostrils, its tail casting the only light in the silence that followed. The man's gaze swept over them, unmoved. Leave, now. Charm's lips curled, but there was fear in her eyes. This isn't over. Neither is your luck, he said coldly. The sisters retreated, dragging their wounded pride and fury back into the forest shadows. Silence fell. The battlefield steamed under Charizard's lingering heat. Akari stared, still kneeling in the grass. Her heart raced, her mind spun. She looked from the smoldering ground to the stranger and his Pokémon, both standing perfectly still, breath sinking like one being. That was incredible, she whispered. You saved me. The man's eyes shifted toward her, unreadable, flat. You put yourself in their path, he said, voice colder than the wind had been minutes before. You're lucky it wasn't worse. Akari blinked. I didn't ask for. No, he cut her off. You didn't. You weren't ready for a fight like that. His tone wasn't cruel, but it wasn't kind either. It was simply factual, detached, like someone reading a weather report while the world burned. Oshawott bristled at his tone, stepping forward with a defiant chirp. Charizard lowered its gaze, letting out a soft rumble, not aggressive, just curious, almost pitying. The man ignored it. This place isn't kind to the unprepared, he said. If you're going to wander Hisui, you should learn when to fight and when to run. Akari's hands clenched. And what about you? You just appear out of nowhere and act like you know everything. He didn't even turn his head. I don't know everything, he said. Just enough. She hesitated. What are you doing here? He didn't answer. Instead, he reached out and placed a single hand on Charizard's neck. The dragon exhaled, fire dimming, wings folding tight. The man recalled it in a flash of red light. The strange Pokeball closed with a metallic click. Without another word, he turned away. Wait, Akari called. At least, tell me your name. He paused briefly, just long enough for her to think he might answer. Then, in that same level, distant voice, he said, Names don't matter. Not here. And he walked into the trees, disappearing as quietly as he'd come. Akari stood there, the air still hot from the flames, watching the last traces of smoke rise into the Hisuian sky. Oshawott looked up at her, eyes wide and unsure. Akari exhaled shakily. "Yeah," she murmured. "I don't think he was here to help us." The forest was silent again. Only the faint smell of scorched earth remained. A reminder that somewhere, beyond Hisui's time, power like that could exist, and walk away without looking back. The morning fog hung heavy over Jubilife village, veiling the rooftops in a sleepy haze. The air smelled of soot and rain, signs of another long night of forging, hunting, and surviving. Within the Galaxy Hall, the candles flickered low, casting wavering shadows across the commander's quarters. Commander Kamado stood with his hands folded behind his back, staring out the tall, narrow window toward Mount Coronet. His heavy armor clinked softly with each movement, the golden crest on his chest glinting dimly in the gray light. Behind him, Akari, his loyal Survey Corps prodigy, waited silently, posture straight, eyes attentive. She could feel the tension thick in the room. "You've been wondering about him, haven't you?" Kamado said finally, voice deep and steady. "The man they call Ash Ketchum." Akari blinked in surprise. She hadn't expected Kamado to bring it up so directly, though the question had burned in her for months. "Yes, sir," she admitted. "I've seen him a few times, only from afar. He comes and goes, never speaking to anyone. Some of the villagers say he's dangerous, others say he's some kind of hero, but no one knows who he truly is." Kamado turned, his eyes narrowing. Hero or not, the truth is far stranger than either rumor. He moved to his desk, placing a hand over a rolled parchment, one marked with the red seal of the Security Corps. "Ash arrived here, 40 years ago, out of nowhere. Just appeared in the Obsidian Fieldlands like a ghost from another world. He spoke our tongue, but not our manner. Knew Pokémon better than any of us, but treated them like partners, not beasts." Akari frowned. 40 years ago? That was before the village had even tamed a single alpha Pokémon. "Indeed." Kamado nodded gravely. "And yet this man walked into the wild as if it were his home." He exhaled as if letting go of an old weight. "Since then, he's lived apart from us. Comes to Jubilife only to trade or restock, never stays long. Some call him a mercenary, others a wanderer. But he works for us indirectly, under Captain Celine's supervision." At the mention of her name, the office door opened softly, and Celine herself stepped inside, her expression unreadable as ever. Though her Survey Corps coat was immaculate, and her pale eyes flicked toward Akari before settling on Kamado. "I assume you're discussing our ally," she said quietly. Kamado's brows furrowed. "If you wish to call him that." Celine ignored the jab and looked at Akari. "Commander Kamado has permitted me to share the nature of his assignments. You asked what kind of missions he takes, yes?" Akari nodded. "He takes the ones no one else will," Celine replied simply. "Retrieving rare relics from the Coronet Highlands, gathering samples from alpha Pokémon dens, tracking fugitives who fled the village into the wilds, places where even seasoned surveyors refused to tread." Akari's eyes widened. "He does all that? Alone?" Celine's expression softened just slightly. "Not alone, with his Pokémon. But yes, he is solitary. The wilderness is his domain, not ours." Kamado grunted. "If you ask me, he doesn't belong here at all. There's something off about him. He carries himself like a soldier, yet there's no army in this world that could have trained him. He's not showy, but he's alien. A man from another world." Akari tilted her head. "You mean literally another world?" Kamado's gaze darkened. "Perhaps. The way he commands Pokémon, like beasts one moment, like friends the next, it's unlike anything we know. And the way the wild Pokémon respond to him, even the alphas hesitate before attacking him, as though they recognize him, as though they remember him." Silence filled the room for a long moment. Akari's heart thudded. She'd heard whispers. How Ash Ketchum had once faced down an enraged Ursaluna bare-handed. How he'd calmed a raging Gyarados by speaking to it softly. How he'd walked away from battles that should have killed any man. But this was the first time she'd heard the commander speak of him with such gravity. Finally, Celine broke the silence. "Whatever his origin, one thing is certain, he is not our enemy. He has helped keep the peace beyond the walls. Without him, we might have lost contact with several survey teams." Kamado's jaw tightened. "That may be so, but I do not trust what I do not understand." Commander Kamado assigned Ash to accompany Akari on her mission, not only to assist her in catching Pokémon, but also to serve as her guard in the wild. For a brief moment, Kamado dropped his stern facade and spoke plainly. Ash was experienced in ways Akari was not, and Kamado wanted her to learn as much as she could from him while she had the chance. Akari, eager to measure her own growth, challenged Ash to a battle. She sent out Oshawott, its shell gleaming in the afternoon light, while Ash calmly released his dusk Lycanroc. The wind swept across the open field, rustling the tall grass as the two Pokémon faced one another. Oshawott struck first, trying to use its water-type moves to control the field. Jets of water splashed across the ground, but Lycanroc was far too fast. It darted between attacks with sharp precision, making Oshawott's efforts nearly useless. Lycanroc lunged forward, landing an Accelerock for light but steady chip damage, never letting up the pressure. Akari clenched her fists, searching for a way out. Thinking quickly, she ordered Oshawott to fire water gun directly at the ground beneath Lycanroc. The soaked earth collapsed under Lycanroc's footing, catching it by surprise and dealing solid damage. Seizing the moment, Oshawott followed up with Razor Shell, but Ash's Lycanroc reacted instantly. With a sharp counter, it reversed the momentum, striking back with devastating force. When the dust settled, Oshawott lay unconscious. Ash recalled Lycanroc and commented calmly that Akari showed real potential. As he knelt and gently petted Lycanroc, Akari froze. She had never seen a trainer treat their Pokémon like that, not just as a tool for battle, but with genuine respect and affection. It wasn't praise for strength alone, it was love. Something shifted in her. Maybe she could learn to do the same for Oshawott. After tending to their Pokémon, they continued onward. That night, they made camp beneath a sky filled with cold, distant stars. Akari struggled to sleep in the open wilderness, her nerves constantly on edge. She kept Oshawott close, its presence giving her a sense of safety. Ash, far more accustomed to nights like this, kept watch. He fed the fire with steady hands and scratched behind Lycanroc's ears as it rested beside him. His gaze drifted to the flames, memories stirring against his will. He remembered the day he battled Leon, the strongest trainer in the world, and lost. The loss itself hadn't broken him. Giving up had. That decision led him down a dark path, abandoning his dream of becoming a Pokémon master, growing bitter and weary. Then came the teleportation, violent, mysterious, throwing him into a different time entirely. Everyone he had known was gone. Most of his Pokémon were gone too. Only a few remained, except Pikachu. That wound was still too painful to touch. Ash glanced at Akari as she slept, her expression stubborn even in rest. It hurt to look at her, but it also made him smile. The next day, they were tasked with dealing with an alpha Pokémon that had been causing trouble for nearby villagers. The locals lacked strong enough Pokémon to face it themselves. After asking around, they tracked the disturbance to an alpha Kricketune. The moment battle began, the forest filled with shrill cries and vibrating air. Akari sent out Rufflet, while Ash chose one of his older partners, Sceptile. Akari and Rufflet fought with everything they had, but the alpha's strength and tricky techniques overwhelmed them. It used Sing to disrupt the battlefield, forcing even Ash and Sceptile to tread carefully. That was when Akari noticed something important. Ash and Sceptile weren't overpowering Kricketune. They waited, they observed, they stayed patient, reading its movements and exploiting its mistakes. When the opening finally came, Sceptile struck with Leaf Blade, ending the battle cleanly. Akari understood then, strength wasn't just power, it was control. After weeks in the wild, gathering research and completing missions, they returned to Jubilife Village to report back. Kamado called a meeting with Adaman and Irida, whose clans were locked in a heated argument over which legendary Pokémon deserved a statue in the village. Ash listened quietly before offering a simple solution. Why not both Dialga and Palkia? Time cannot exist without space, and space cannot exist without time. Kamado immediately saw the wisdom in the idea. It avoided political fallout and ensured neither clan would feel slighted. Though Adaman and Irida still complained, Kamado's decision was final. Later, Ash and Akari submitted their research to Professor Laventon. He was incredibly proud of Akari, but deeply puzzled by Ash. Despite all their travels, Ash hadn't attempted to catch a single Pokémon. Ash explained simply that he was content with the Pokémon he already had. Laventon, curious to the point of obsession, asked if he could study Ash's Pokémon, especially those not native to Hisui, including the legendary Pokémon said to soar through the skies. That was a mistake. Ash snapped. He shouted at Laventon to back off, his anger sharp and sudden. The professor recoiled, shaken. Akari quickly intervened, calming the situation and pulling Laventon away. Ash walked off without another word. Laventon realized then that some bonds were not meant to be dissected. As Akari followed Ash, she felt uneasy. She had never seen him that angry before. Suddenly, Ash felt it, a presence he had been desperately avoiding. Volo. For reasons he couldn't explain, Ash had never trusted the man. Every instinct screamed danger. Ash tried to walk away, but Volo spoke up, mentioning ancient research on Arceus and rare stories of people sent back through time. Ash stopped. Volo smiled knowingly. I have your attention now, don't I? He leaned closer. It's only a lead, but it might be the one thing that could send you back to your own time.